Everyone. The topic today, the empowering procurement, the cutting-edge strategies for risk reduction. So procurement, what is the cost of risk? First, when you talk about the procurement professionals, the first normally it comes, it's wired in our system that we have to bring down the cost. But when we talk about the cost reduction, nothing comes free in the world. So along with that, what amount of risk we buy in, that also need to be measured. So when you talk about the risk, what are the risks associated with our procurement? First, we need to identify the risks. Once we identify the risk, then the next process comes in, what is the cost of mitigation of that risk? If we do that cost-benefit analysis, then procurement becomes easier. The cost of the risk mitigation vis-a-vis the saving and other things we are bringing on the table, that needs to be evaluated on the cost-benefit analysis. I would like to share, since morning I think you have seen so many presentations and all that, AI, ML, everything have been talked several times. Let us discuss something differently. And I would like to leave the slides here itself and let us talk. So I would like to share something with you which is today morning's incident. I would say this is a case study. When I got in, boarded the aircraft this morning from Barodara, my co-passenger, Dr. Beena Gandhi, a senior citizen, she was looking for a preferred seat, but the seat belongs to someone else. She approached that other lady and she refused, no, I bought that seat. So she was sitting on her position and I was in the middle between these two ladies. Then she, extended, he approached, what's your good name and all that. Then I come to know and she mentioned, she is a pediatrician, but she says, nowadays I don't use the doctor because I am not in practice. And she is 77 years old. Then she mentioned, I don't prefer, traveling by air. I always prefer to travel by road from Barodara to Mumbai. She has got two houses, one in Barodara and another in Mumbai, she mentioned. I said, why? She says, today I am traveling with the help of wheelchair, and the way the securities from the beginning, once I entered, seeing that I don't have anything, but the way they have carried out the searching process and all that, I feel very, very, uncomfortable with that. And that is one of the reasons I prefer to travel by road. I said, such a simple thing, but it happens with all of us. When we travel nowadays, our boarding time is increased from 1 hour to 2 hours or more. Every day, whenever we travel, we get up, they reach to the airport 2 hours in advance for the domestic because of these processes. Earlier, it was 1 hour. Then I was thinking, what is the risk? Then I was telling her, this comes because the searching process, because these guys are helpless, because they have some risk. They identified some risk, and that is the reason they scan us in different ways to mitigate that risk. This is nothing like that, they don't care about you. Then I was thinking that, what is the cost of this risk mitigation? Out of my curiosity, I just checked in the Google. In 2024, 376 million passengers traveled in India. 376 million passengers, if we spend 1 hour extra, so that means those many hours. If the cost of us, on an average, in the lowest side also, if we take 1,000 hours per hour, this works out to be 38,000 crore. If it is 2,000 or 2,500, it's 1 lakh crore. That is the cost of that risk mitigation. Is the technology available? Have we thought about it? How can we mitigate this? This is a loss in our productivity. This is a loss in our output. It's idling. It's a national loss. It's a loss to the supply chain. Let us think, how can technology come forward and mitigate this, bring out a solution for this risk. AI, artificial intelligence is very, very important and it is need of the day, no doubt in that. But I strongly feel artificial intelligence works on the lagging indicators. What is the data available with you? Data available in our surroundings. They pick up data from different areas, they process it very fast. But to make the AI work, HI is very, very important, which is human intelligence. That is no negotiation in that. How can, and if that human intelligence is idling for no reason, for the smallest amount of risk, which can, can be addressed in different ways, we all should invest our time in thinking and evaluating that. So, understanding the urgency of procurement risk management. When we buy or negotiate something, then procurement risk directly affects the cost. And not only the regularity compliances. Nowadays, in the age of ESG, when we talk about the sustainability compliances, what are the risks we are negotiating and how do we mitigate that? The disruptions is no more, the 5-year event nowadays. It's a monthly event nowadays. Last month when Trump took, so everybody talked about that, disruption since morning. What is awaiting, what is the next disruption awaiting, we don't know. AI doesn't have any clue. But the future readiness of this human intelligence, based on the data, based on the analysis fed by artificial intelligence is very important. That can bring out the solution and make us future ready. So that when we are future ready, whatever comes, we are ready for that. So absolutely there is nothing to be worried about. Yes, there will be some impact, but the impacts can be minimized to a greater extent. If we talk about, next gen strategies for procurement risk management, AI, ML, everybody talked about, cloud-based. But one most important thing I think we need to discuss, that is the diversity and inclusion. It's not a technology, but it's a method and process we must bring in, procurement. That will unlock a lot of values. We'll have a case, we'll discuss that in detail. When you talk about procurement, automatically the supplier, the contractors automatically come in because they are working with us. They are our success partners. Our dependability is extremely high on them, but we don't call them partner. Does it work? It doesn't work. We have to make them partner. As we consider them as a success partner, we have to call them as a business partner. And not only call, we have to have that in our mind in true sense, and we have to demonstrate in every touch point. That is the need of the hour. Once we give this, because nothing comes free, as I said, once we, so that is associated with the trust. When we talk about the partnership, it builds the trust. And if we again refer to Ronald Coase, the cost of trust is very high. He's a British economist. He's a Nobel laureate. He defined what is the cost of trust. It's as high as 33%. AIML I'll skip these slides because a lot of things we have already discussed, but some of the case studies will bring in. Diversity and inclusion, we have a separate slide on this we'll discuss. Now this is the case study. We all know this in 2022, we had a chip shortage crisis everywhere in the world. And what has happened? What was the impact of that? The impact was multi-billion. Here in this particular case, this is not limited to a particular industry and not particular geographical region. This was all across. And what was the solution? We didn't have any solution. The whole industry, whole world, supply chain suffered for this. But if we do that, how could that be mitigated and what would be the cost? We'll talk on that. Another case study is Target. This is in 2013. It's a US-based retailer. They suffered the data leakage. All of their, the customers, the data that got, hacked. And they lost they faced a lot of legal litigations. What are the cost of that? One more, this was that we know, this is, Nike's child labor related issue. It's a compliance issue. These cases are known to us. This has created a lot of, complications to those industries and given us a food for thought. If that situation happens, how do we mitigate? But before we talk about the mitigation, let us understand, yes, I am mindful of your time. So here, see these three cases. If we discuss the estimated financial losses, how much it was, and the risk mitigation cost is nothing compared to the impact the organizations had. So whenever the procurement professionals, this is why I wanted to bring this to this procurement ecosystem, procurement fraternities. When we negotiate, we must be very, very careful and mindful about the risk associated to that and what is the cost of that risk mitigation. Based on this cost-benefit analysis, we must do the negotiation. Enhancing risk mitigation through female inclusion in procurement. This is a huge area where the female employees, the talents, they can add huge value. What the study says, the stronger supplier relationships and the negotiations, the female procurement professionals are more likely to prioritize the collaboration. And this is for the Harvard Business Review of 2021. If you refer that, it improves the fraud detection and compliance. It enhances ethical and sustainable procurement. The better risk assessment and decision making. I think we need to discuss this. We don't discuss. So diversity in procurement and inclusion, because once we do this, bring this diversification and inclusion in the procurement, we open new fronts, we actually increase our horizons. And that brings the cost down. I would like to discuss one more case studies of Aarti Industries Limited. Like we do the sustainability assessment, we decided we'll only work with the business partners, those we are entrusting with the order more than once a year. Before onboarding them, we'll do the sustainability assessment of them. And we engaged DNVGL. DNV, I think everybody knows, they are a 120 years old company. And they are the world's first company who get into that domain. Then we identified, we have 20,000 plus business partners enrolled with us. It's not possible and feasible to do the sustainability assessment for everyone. It's a cost. So what we started doing, more than once a year, we identified 329 business partners whom we issued more than once a year orders. So we decided we'll do this. We spent 28,000 for the sustainability assessment of each business partner. Now, the top 10 business partners, they account 20% of our business volume. Such a huge number. These top 10 business partners, they don't have only single customers at the industries. They are well established in the marketplace. They have hundreds of and thousands of customers like us. If we consider these 10 business partners, each are having minimum 500 the customers for them, then if we multiply, it becomes 5,000 customers for them. If these 10, all these 500 customers, does the assessment of these 10 business partners, how much do you spend? 28,000 into 5,000 is 14 crore. At the same time, this many productive time losses, because one customer is getting assessed by 500 different customers time and again for the same purpose. So we proposed, if we form a consortium, these 10 companies, if we form a consortium and if we do the assessment jointly, these 5,000 only that, 10 assessments will serve the whole purpose, and cost comes down to 200 rupees. 28,000 vis-a-vis 200. Can't we do that? It's not rocket science, and we are not compromising in our data. We are not compromising any of our business ethics, nothing. It's only the data sharing about our business partners. We have done assessment of one. Others consortium members will decide what should be the procedure and the background of the assessment, and based on that aligned approach, we can do this. This is the risk mitigation part and the cost reduction, because this is we identify the risk area and we mitigate it. Last year, I reached out to 93, procurement organizations. Though they belong to specialty chemicals and pharma. I think some of you are already here in this. I reached out to the top officials, the CEOs, CPOs, MDs, or the directors, and approached them. Can we work together on some common platform where our common interest areas? What are the things we can go do together? One is the partner management. How can we, if you use the blockchain technology and then share the data in that, so our data is completely secured. Nobody can touch or destroy or spoil or do anything with our data. It's immutable. Sustainability assessments, as I mentioned, circular economy, the operating inventory, scrap, all those things. Everybody, something I am desperately looking for, and my business partner is not in a position, maybe in some other company, all these things are lying unnecessarily, idling for years. So this is the cooperation and collaborative environment we need to create. That is the need of the hour. Similarly, procurement planning, business transformation, innovation and knowledge sharing. This is for the community development. This is for the development of the procurement fraternity. Because the resources keep on jumping from this boat to that boat. And the knowledge gap or the difference in different organizations, it creates a lot of gaps, unworkabilities. Talent development and advocacy as a consortium. I think we need to think on this, and the time has come, we all align and create such platform, that consortium. What Harsh was mentioning today morning, some of the European companies have started doing this. This, in 2022, I presented in CIPS, conclave in CIPS ProcureCon conclave in Singapore, and I received the first prize for this. So this, in India, let us create that environment, let us buy in and go forward. Thank you very much.